ordering pluralism is an expression which seems rather unusual. Unusual because it expresses like a kind of monster. A monster because pluralism implies differences, dispersion, and fragmentation, whereas legal order leads us to think in terms of a unified structure which is hierarchical and static, or evolving but very, very slowly. But the problem is that the world is not static at all. It is interactive, more and more interactive, and rapidly evolving. So that we must now take up the challenge of changing our mind as our legal history has changed. That's why we need perhaps imagination in the field of law, where it was not the first quality supposed to be a juridical quality. Legal history has changed in Europe, where a supranational legal order was established after the end of World War II. And it changed in the entire world, even in a powerful state as the United States. It changed particularly since the end of Cold War, which accelerated the so-called globalization of law, not only in human rights law, but also in trade law, in labor law, environmental law, internet law, contract law, criminal law, and many other fields. See ordering, rather than ordered pluralism, as a way to stress the processes of integration rather than the results, the movement rather than the model. So to understand these processes, we'll try to evaluate different degrees of integration, different levels in space, and different speeds in time. In other words, we'll analyze three possible answers to three questions: how, where, and when. What will the result look like? Traditionally, we have a choice between two models. Sovereignist model, national legal order still independent, and universalist model, supranational integrated legal order. When looking at the current legal world, it seems to me that the most obvious result we can observe is neither a mere juxtaposition of national legal orders, nor a well-established global legal order, but a series of apparently contradictory, disorderly movements, extremely complex, as we saw, through different processes, different levels, different speeds. So to be slightly provocative, I have suggested substituting the cloud metaphor for Kelson's well-known pyramid metaphor. Why the clouds? Because unlike a static pyramid of norms, legal system seems to be deformed as soon, almost as soon as they take shape, before we have even the time to determine their outlines. The cloud metaphor seems particularly well suited to European construction. Europe is continually forming and deforming, but the situation is, of course, much more complex at the global level. As the states become more interdependent, it seems to me that a radical conception of sovereignty paves the way to the great legal disorder, something like that. like clouds in the sky on a windy day. But an absolute universalism may produce the risk of unifying and freezing the world order in a hegemonic way, like clouds engraved in the stone steps of a forbidden city in China. So what to do if we refuse both extremes? We have no choice. No choice but trying to reconcile diversity and unity in ordering pluralism by imagining a pluralist model ordering clouds. And that is the secret meaning of the subtitle I gave to this lecture, In the Land of Orderly Clouds. Thank you for your attention.